Selling your home isn't just a transaction, it's closing a chapter you've lived for years. And when you're doing it solo in the Denver suburbs, one wrong move can turn a fresh start into an expensive setback. You deserve to walk into your next chapter with confidence, not crossed fingers. Let's make sure you get this right from the very beginning. I work with women all over Highlands Ranch, Littleton, Aurora, smart, capable women who've handled bigger challenges than just selling a house. But the fear they whisper to me is, what if I make the wrong move? That fear is real, and it's fixable. If you've been wondering where to even start, you're in the right place. Let's walk through it together. There's a way to do this that feels smart and steady. These key steps will help you move forward with confidence, even when you're the one making every decision. Step number 1 is to know your real numbers. One thing that catches almost every solo seller by surprise? It's not the list price that shapes your future, it's your net proceeds. And I get it. It's easy to think my home is special. Buyers will pay more. I worked with a seller, let's call her Carol, who got a solid offer right out of the gate. She turned it down, not because it was a bad offer, but because it didn't match the numbers she had in her head. Then came the waiting, the stress, and the realization that the market decides value, not our memories. We had a frank conversation, read the actual data, and adjusted the strategy to match her neighborhood and the current Denver market, not the past. And when she finally sold, she told me something. She said, I wish I'd listened to the numbers sooner. It would have saved me a lot of unnecessary heartburn. Now, step 2 is to pre-decide your next move. The scariest part about selling solo isn't the paperwork, it's the idea of being homeless. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to plan your landing first. Here are the real options in the Denver suburbs and how they can work in your favor. First, you identify your next place early. Even if you're not writing offers yet, you can narrow down neighborhoods, budget, and floor plans now so that when the right home appears, you're ready. No panic moves. Rent back after closing, called a post-closing occupancy. You sell, then stay in your home for a set period while you finalize that next purchase. This removes the homeless fear and gives you time to shop as well. Or you can do a longer closing. If the buyer timeline allows, you negotiate a longer close so you can secure your next home without rushing. Or a short planned bridge. Staying with friends, a 30 to 60 day rental. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. A brief landing spot can help you buy without making concessions you'll regret later. And it can keep you calm if that first deal falls through. These strategies help on both sides. On the buy side, flexibility allows you to pursue the right house at the right price instead of grabbing the first thing out of fear. And on the sell side, you can accept strong offers with terms that protect you, like a rent back or a longer close, instead of forcing a fire drill timeline. And time of year can matter. In Denver, it can feel more seller-leaning in the spring and buyer-friendly in the fall and winter. We'll shape timing and terms to match the market you're stepping into. Bottom line, you're not selling and hoping it works out. You're making a sequenced move with your needs first. And if you want a quick roadmap, grab my Downsizing cheat sheet. It lays out all these options so you can see your path at a glance. Step 3 is prep what actually matters. Here's what buyers really react to when they walk through the door. And trust me, I see it all the time. They're picturing their daily life in your home. Not your fancy decor or brand new countertops. They want to see a kitchen that feels open enough to cook a meal. Bathrooms that look clean and updated, not a project they have to survive. Rooms that feel comfortable and uncluttered. Think less dream home HTV and more, can I picture myself drinking coffee here on a Tuesday morning? And if something small feels off, that loose doorknob, that squeaky hinge, a light bulb that's been out since 2022, buyers notice. Not because they're picky, but because in their mind, little things matter. A missing switch plate, a stained carpet, a closet that can't close, that sends a message that bigger issues might be hiding. On the other hand, small improvements send a different message. What really wins buyers over is a home that feels well-loved and easy to settle into, even if it doesn't have the latest quartz countertop or gold tone fixtures. Your job is to show them that your home has been well-maintained, and that's what gives them confidence. And confidence is what gets you a strong offer. Now, step number 4 is setting boundaries with other voices. Yeah, here's something nobody warns you about when you're selling. Everyone suddenly becomes a real estate expert the minute you say, I'm listing the house. Adult children, siblings, well-meaning friends, and the neighbor Bob, who bought his house back in 1994 and still thinks that qualifies him as an appraiser. Their intentions, usually good. Their advice, not always grounded in the current Denver market or in your reality. I worked with a client, we'll call her Sally, who needed to sell the family home after her parents passed. They had 4 adult children involved, 4 expert opinions about its value, and let's be honest, 4 different ideas about how big their inheritance check should be. But here's what none of them were dealing with: the mortgage payment, the property taxes, the upkeep, and of course the emotional load of walking through that house alone. Yet they each felt very confident about what should happen. Here's the truth Sally had to face. The people who aren't financially or emotionally responsible should not have the loudest voice in major financial decisions. She eventually drew a boundary and said, we're making decisions based upon what's best for today and what keeps this process moving forward. And that's where everything shifted. Because loving your family doesn't mean letting them take the steering wheel on your next chapter. Now, step 5, protect your peace. You know, selling a home solo doesn't mean you have to carry every single piece of this process alone. You deserve support that respects this transition, not someone who rushes you or talks over you. This isn't just paperwork in a moving truck. This is closing a chapter and choosing what comes next. You deserve a plan that keeps you steady, a process that doesn't overwhelm you, and guidance that knows the traps before you step into them. Because your voice should guide this move, not everybody else's opinions. Your voice matters the most here. Everyone else? Well, bonus opinions at best. And once you have that in place, the numbers, the plan, the preparation, the boundaries, something shifts. Suddenly, this isn't happening to you. You're making it happen for you. So here's what we did today. You'll know what you'll walk away with, your real numbers. You'll have a plan for where you're going next. You'll focus your energy where it pays you back. And you're setting boundaries with the people that love you. And you're protecting your peace every step of the way. That's how you sell strategically, not reactively. And that's how you move solo without feeling like you're on your own. You know, if this helped you feel even a little more confident about what's next, grab my free guide below. Moves for Women 50 Plus, How to Buy Smart When You're Moving Solo in Denver. And while you're there, download my free downsizing cheat sheet as well. It lays out your first steps in a clear, simple way. Hi, I'm Peggy Dursthoff, a realtor with Live Denver Suburbs, powered by HomeSmart. And I help women in the Denver suburbs sell and move strategically, especially when they're doing it solo after a major life change. Hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's market update video where we'll talk about whether waiting is actually a good move right now for solo sellers. And if your next thought is, well, what am I going to do with all my stuff? You're not alone. Tap my next video here in the Solar Seller Journey playlist. It's all about how to declutter when you want to keep everything. We'll tackle the emotional side and the practical side, so you don't feel like you're packing up your entire life just to move down the street. I'll meet you there, and we'll keep taking this one step at a time.